What up, birds? What it do? Trying to let the room fill in a little bit. Kind of popped on live here without even saying anything. I told everybody I'd be on later in the afternoon, but it's coming on here. Get some talks in because they've got some contract talks about the Cowboys going on. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of that. Yes. What it do, though, birds? What it do, Daniels? What's good? What's good? Yeah, you got first comment. Waiting on Adam Schefter is the latest on Cowboys blockbuster deal with Odigizua and Micah Parsons. So we're going to get into that here in just a second. I'm just trying to let the chat fill in a little bit. Trying to get everybody. Come on. Ooh, god dang. Trying to get everybody to join in. Excuse me. All right, I'm going to go share this to X. We should get this thing in. We're about to go ham. Room filling a little bit here. What up, Landon? What up, everybody? No, you good, bro? Man, Landon, you ain't never gonna say sorry for leaving, showing up late, missing the stream. You ain't gotta say sorry, man. You good, bro? I ain't never gonna be mad at you. Like I said, most I'll ever do is ask, hey, where you been? I ain't never gonna be mad at you, bro. It don't matter. This is a Cowboy sports show. A Cowboy sports show. See? Echo that sentiment. This ain't a Redskin sports show. What it do? Chenta? Sorry if I'm butchering your name. Sorry about that. Is it Chinita? No, I'm butchering it, and I apologize if I'm butchering your name. But yeah, we're about to get in here. They got some news going on. As of yesterday, really, about Micah Parsons' contract talks, and they say blockbuster deal with Odigizua. So, hey, we're going to get in here. Make sure y'all like and comment your team if you're not a Cowboy fan, or if you are a Cowboy fan, please still comment your team. But, man, make sure y'all like the stream as you come in. And we're about to get into this. We're just trying to let everybody get in here and tap in with us here. Appreciate all 36 of y'all tuned in. Make sure y'all hit that like button because we're about to get it popping. All right, so Adam Schefter went on NFL Scouting Combine. They had a Sports Center or ESPN Sports Center update. Said blockbuster deal with Odigizua. I heard something he was going to be around $21 to $22 million. Which is going to put him somewhere in like the 10th highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL. So we'll have to see. We're about to watch this here in a second. What up, Jeffrey? What it do? PJ Glizzy. Meme. Shout outs to all y'all. Matthew Golden. You like Matthew Golden? Hell yeah, he's a decent receiver for sure coming out the draft. Yeah, I'm watching the Combine over here, so we're going to have some reactions to the Combine as well. But I'm going to get into some of this breaking news. Just make sure y'all tap that like button as you come in. I think it's the glasses that's tracking all the people out. Nah, man, it's just a day stream. It's a day stream. Landon, you weren't here when we were getting thousands of viewers on each stream. I was averaging 5,000 to 10,000 viewers a stream. Thanksgiving, we had 35,000. We were getting about 30 to 50 people average in the chat at any given time. Some points it would hit 100 people. What up, Pickles? What it do? We're trying to grow the channel, though, so I'm going to have to do some more of these day streams to help bring in the audience so that they understand that we are here. And then they'll learn the schedule of the actual streaming process that we got going. But, yeah, because we'll be live later tonight as well for WWE, but right now this is strictly football, which is what this channel mainly is about. This channel is mainly a football channel for anybody new tuning in. I appreciate that, Chinita or Chinta. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, ma'am. Chinta. I'm hoping that's right. Or I don't know. I ain't never seen the spelling like that for a name, so I'm just hoping I'm not butchering your name too bad. All right, so I'm gonna get into this. Right now, they're talking about the doctors advise Abdul Carter against surgery for the stress reaction in his right foot. and they're talking about that right now. So we're gonna get the update on that. Yes, sir, Trent. What it do? Man, you ain't gotta call me Mister. I'm a working man, just like anybody else. So Abdul Carter will not be part of the combine, as we already know, because D-line and linebackers were earlier this week, but he will be there for the pro day. Jackie, what to do? I guess you already know who Pickles is. Shout outs to both of y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in with us. We've had some crazy updates over the week about the Cowboys. Some I would call just rumors. Yeah, the linebacker. He's a linebacker defensive end. He's kind of like a hybrid Micah Parsons. But yeah, that we're talking about Abdul Carter just a moment ago. Right now they're talking about Rams let Matthew Stafford speak to other teams about market value. They should be. I'm pretty sure I ain't missed any of the updates. All right, so here's actually where I think they got Brian Schottenheimer, the Cowboys head coach, talking at the combine, and then they bring up the actual Odigizua deal. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Well, welcome in. You hang out with us much, you'll get to learn football. Do you ever watch any WWE or anything? You like soccer? That's cool. That's cool. Well, hey, well, you can learn a lot. So right there, they were talking about Micah Parsons. What does that say? Hold on. It says projected calorie sap space 2.5 million. Hold on, let me get that zoomed in. All right, so 2.5 million off-season storyline. Micah Parsons entering final year of contract. It says notable free agents that need signed: DeMarcus Lawrence, Rico Dowdle, Brandon Cooks. Man, those aren't even none that we're worrying about. Rico Dowdle, I hope we kind of bring back. DeMarcus Lawrence, depending if he's less than 5 million or 5 million or less, I'll bring DeMarcus Lawrence back. But Odigizua, Jordan Lewis, those are names that we really need to be looking forward to seeing getting signed along with Micah Parsons. Like they need to get the Micah Parsons deal done like ASAP, and that's really what this video is about. So they said got Travis Hunter talking. I'm trying to find the spot where they talking about the deal with Odigizua, because otherwise they're not even talking about what it's titled, and that would be considered clickbait. All right, let's get this computer rolling. What up, Kevin? What up, TN23? What it do? What it do? Miss Alyssa, what's good with you? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hell yeah. All right. So yeah, it says latest Adam Scheffner, latest on Cowboys blockbuster deal with Odigizua and Lawrence. But that's not anything of what they talked about in that video. I scanned through it. All right, so we're gonna bring up someone who is actually talking about that. We got the Blitz, the off-season opportunity, Dallas Cowboys 2023. That's a Dallas Cowboys show that they're putting out. All right, let me see if I can pull it up this way. Latest news. What it do? What it do? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Quality's bad. My bad. I need to turn. What up, Miss Pittsburgh? What it do? What it do? All right, so we about to get into this right now. They just watching the combine. They got the QBs working out over here. I'm gonna have to go back and do a reaction on the QB's actual 40 times and stuff and all that. Because right now they're doing throwing drills. They got Quinn Ewers throwing out routes. And wide receiver number 20. Quinn Ewers making some good throws. He goes in a later round with the Dallas Cowboys actually looking to get a quarterback in the draft. Quinn Ewers could be a Cowboy if he's a day 5 pick or a day 4 pick. What up, Sarah? What it do? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looking clear. It's better? All right. Thank you. Yeah, when if I forget to turn my Wi-Fi on my phone off, for some reason it makes my stream wacky because I got my kids in here that are on the stream. The TV's off the internet, my computer, everything's off the internet. So when my phone's running off the Wi-Fi, it slows it down. It's all right. It's all right. You ain't got to worry about it. All right, let's see. Are they gonna pull it up? All right, it didn't type in. Latest news on contracts. See what it pulls up for us. What up, Ryan? What it do? Exactly. We stay chill. I'm always chill. You can ask any of the regulars that come into the stream. But welcome to the community. Make sure you do hit that like and subscribe. You can hit that notification bell. We go live almost every day, talking sports, talking football, talking sports entertainment with wrestling. And sometimes we just come on and shoot the shit and have conversations with the community. But yeah, what up? What it do? What it do? Hey, if Genty's there, they probably will. If Genty is available, they probably will. What? What's the matter? Oh, here, take the kickstand down here with you. All right, so Cowboys trading up to the number 1 pick? Question mark. Dallas Cowboys news on Tyler Guyton, Cooper, Beebe, and Odigizua. Let's see what he has to say. Shout out to Tom Downey. I'm not going to play the video, but what up, Jeff Lee? What's good with you, brother? What's good? You're an asses? Aussie, I got you. So you're from Australia? That's dope. That's dope. What up, Steve? What up, God King? What up, Best? Alabama is losing to Tennessee 32-20. Hey, I hear you. Appreciate the update. What up, Backshots? What's good? I got you, Jeff. Man, I'm always going to appreciate you, brother. Always. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's dope. What time is it over there in Australia right now? I know you guys' time zones are completely different than ours. What, you like the caramel frappe from the QT? They got QTs over there in Aussie? That would be wild. Shout outs to QT if they do. Man, I have a QT cup almost every stream. But the same, Steve. I got you. I got you, Steve. What up, Jeffrey? Dylan Gabriel and Will Howard. Where's 2 passing? Where's the passing rules? Oh, you talking about in the combine, Jeffrey? What up, Jewish? Who's me again? I can't say that I've ever seen your name. You change your name from something else? What up, Jalen Season? What it do? Welcome through. He's talking about that the rumor between the Cowboys and them calling the Tennessee Titans to be interested in moving up to the number 1 pick in the 2025 draft. So talking about the Cowboys becoming the overall number 1 pick. Now, to me, that's a complete bogus story. When Mike Florio reported that story, it was a hearsay. There was no actual proof or resources backing that. Now, granted, I think the Cowboys should call and try to figure out what it would take to become the number 1 pick in the draft. I think they should. But should they actually do it? I mean, I don't know. It depends. That would kind of go hand in hand with that rumor around the Super Bowl that we heard about them trading uh, Micah Parsons as well. Nah, bro, I'm not saying all that on the channel, bro. That's not what this channel is. What it do, Gardo? Stafford's contract is being restructured right now. That's dope. That's dope. Hell yeah. Yes, sir, Jalen. Yes, sir. You gotta close the door. When the dog is not in his cage. Alright, whatever. We close the door. My dog's not in the house. You can't just leave my door open. You know this. We had this conversation already. You can't, especially when Mello's not in his kennel. He'll run out the door, and you got your little friends out there that he'll jump on because he's trying to play with them. He's too big. All right, sorry about that, guys. My middle child came home and left the door open with the dog out. Hello. Is he bugging you, Micah? He's bugging anybody he can. Oh, every day, Jackie. Every day. Every day. Everything I do is for them. Barely, Gardo, barely. But all right, so get back into this. So yeah, that Cowboys trading up to the number 1 pick in my mind would have to go hand in hand with them trading that Micah Parsons rumor that we heard around the Super Bowl. I don't think either are true. I think around the Super Bowl, the Cowboys reported that, or someone reported out of the Cowboys building that they were talking about trading Micah and seeing what they could get. Now, let's take in mind, every team talks about trading their star players. They talk about trading, they talk about restructuring, they talk about extending their contracts. They do this in private, though, so that they can go through all the stages. Linton, stop leaving the door open. You can't just keep leaving the door open with them. They got to go through the steps, the procedure, the stages of actually seeing what their best option is for the team. Now, most teams do this in private. You don't ever hear about it. But the Cowboys are different than every other team. The Cowboys like being in the media. They like being in the headlines. And what better time to release some decoy story like talking about trading Micah than at the Super Bowl? What's that going to do? That's going to put you in the headlines. And they achieved that substantially. There was no question. Everybody was talking about it. All the mainstream platforms were talking about it. All the small-time content creators were talking about it. But most of the people that know, that if you really know, that was a decoy. I don't think the Cowboys ever had any real interest in trading Micah Parsons. They would have had to literally been offered a king's ransom, something that they could not turn down. Because as the Cowboys are in this rebuilding phase right here, he's one of the people that we're building this phase around. So he's a much needed piece for the Cowboys. I don't think he's going anywhere. But yes, conversations had been happening. But that happens across the league with all teams and all-star players. So again, when you hear things like the Cowboys have called Tennessee Titans to get interest on possibly trading up to the number 1 pick in the draft, to me, that's also just them staying in the storylines. But that one really wasn't the same, because that was just Mike Florio kind of being like, I don't want to be the guy that talks about what I hear because I don't want to start a hearsay rumor, and then literally proceeded to go on and start a hearsay rumor, because that was all hearsay. I think that if Mike Florio really had heard that, or really had been in talks and people were telling him that, I think the journalist that he is, he would have wrote that and published the article like he does for anything else. Seeing as there's no article to back it, to me, there's no proof that he even really said it, other than that you heard it come out of his voice. But I don't see any substantiability from it. I don't think that it's even a possibility. I mean, who would the Cowboys even trade up for? What up, Liam? What it do? Who would they trade up for in this draft? There's not a quarterback that's really worth giving up that much draft capital and equity for to then trade up to get, because hit the arrow, baby. All right, but you got to take it down here. All right. So yeah, there's not really a quarterback. What up, Crystal? What it do? There's not really a quarterback that you would want to trade that much equity in trying to trade up for in this draft. It's just not there. Cam Ward is nice. I think he is probably the top quarterback in this draft. I don't rank Shador near him, in my opinion. I mean, I guess you could say that they are quarterback 1 and 2. Shador's definitely number 2. I think Shador, in my opinion, is outside of the top 50 ranked players coming out of college. Now, he's probably the number 2 ranked quarterback, but he's the top 50 out of overall players. I think he falls outside of that. If I ran, he would probably be a day 2 draft pick, in my opinion. What up, Mark Holmes? What it do? Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. But yeah, why do you keep saying spam, Steve? You about to get spam timed out. But yeah, I don't see any equity that in the thought process of the Cowboys trading up to the number 1 pick. There's not really anybody you're going to trade up there for. You could say Travis Hunter, but are you really going to give up that much equity to trade to the number 1 position for a wide receiver or for a cornerback or whatever you value him at either? Now, with saying that, you can say that they did do similar things once before for a cornerback. They did give up a lot of equity before for a cornerback, and it didn't really pan out for them. So, would they really want to touch that kettle again while it's hot still? I don't know. I really don't know. No, yeah, no spam, brother. No spam. What up, Daniel Berry? Y'all should get a corner from Michigan. I hear you. I hear you. I think corner is a position of need that we are looking at. I think that's probably a later pick. I think they're looking. I think they got 4 positions that they're really looking at for the top 3 rounds. I think D tackle, O line, I think wide receiver, and I think running back. I think those are the positions that are at the highest of their need category. I think cornerback, linebacker, safety, edge is also there. I think those are definitely still needs that we could use some depth or another player at, but I don't see that that's welcome back, Jackie. I don't think that that's really what they're going to be chasing in the top rounds of the draft. I personally feel like that when they draft at 12, that if Genty's available, that they'll probably take Genty. That if Genty's not available, they may take Omarion Hampton, which might be considered a little bit of a reach at the 12th pick, but I've seen mock drafts where he does land around the top 10. So it's not too far fetched. But other than that, I would think that with the 12th pick, if it isn't one of those 2 running backs, that it would either be Ted McMillan or Luther Burden, the wide receivers, because those are 2 also. You can maybe put Abuka in there. Abuka's definitely an overall well-rounded player as well. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. I'm going to get back into this Tom Downey here, what he's talking about. Shout outs to Tom Downey and Cowboys Reports by Chats. Shout outs to him for the content he puts out. Helps us other fans grow. And shout outs to Mark Holmes for tuning in with us as well, man. Much love to you. What up, None? What it do? What it do? What's it like in America? I mean, it depends. Different people are going to give you different perspectives. I love America. That's my homeland. That's my country. I'm very patriotic in that manner. I do love my country. Um, but you're gonna get different stories whether you talk to a poor, middle, or rich class person. You're gonna get a different perspective on how you feel about America. So I mean that could change from person to person depending on who you ask. Obviously, our country has problems, but at the end of the day, it still is the land of the free and the home of the brave. And I'm there. I love my country. Steve, why you keep talking about spam? All right, get this video unpaused. Elimination will start at 7 p.m. Alyssa. So we're gonna be on here. What have we been on here for 26 minutes? We probably got another 34 minutes. We're only gonna do an hour show here today because I got some other stuff I got to get done around the house before we do the WWE stream. But uh, but yeah. So 7 o'clock, the WWE stream will be on. Elimination Chamber. It's a paid live event by WWE. Sports entertainment. So if you like wrestling, the entertainment version of wrestling, then man, make sure you tune in. Come hang out with us. What up, Porter? I haven't got to watch the running backs or the wide receivers because they happened today, and I was out doing stuff. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I know it's still going on right now as we speak. I know they're doing a lot of. You like a form of wrestling? Hey, well, you probably like it too. Uh, I don't know if you'll be able to watch it or if you'll have it out there to be able to watch it. It's a paid live event that's coming out of Toronto, Canada tonight. It's called the Elimination Chamber. There'll be a men's match and a women's match, and then there'll be another two matches, I believe. But there'll be at least one more match with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That's a no hold barred match. The WWE is saying that they are not sanctioning. I think most NFL coaches are at the combine, Porter. I haven't seen the list of all of them, but normally at the combine, most of the coaches do show up. Maybe not all the owners, but the coaches that are allowed to build their own teams generally show up, which you could say is a good sign for the Cowboys since we got Brian Schottenheimer there, but we know that the Jones family is also there in the building as well. I hope so too, Alyssa. That's who I'll be rooting for. Hi, Steve. Is this video going to play for me? Like it's trying to lag it out. Might have to pull it up on this one. We'll pull it up over here real quick. You want Lorne Man to win? Iron Man to win? Who do you consider Iron Man? You like John Cena? Let's say John Cena will be there. This will be his last elimination chamber as he will be retiring after the WrestleMania event. I got Tom Downey over here looking like he's on Down syndrome because of its froze. What up, Crystal? Appreciate that. Hey, well, thank you. Make sure you tap in with us. We'll be here during the regular season. We'll be live for every game. I do also go live for other football games as well. But yeah, we do pretty much some online tailgates here for football. We also do online tailgating type of thing for WWE as well. So yeah, just tap in with us because we're on live all the time. I go live almost every day. I take maybe one at most 2 days off a week that I dedicate to family, house, just everything. Because also, how did you not know? Oh, Tony Stark. Tony Stark. I just how am I supposed to get that over Lorne? I don't. Tony Stark is just coming up into the WWE. Isn't she just arriving into WWE? Sort of like Roxanne Perez is as well. Roxanne Perez started off hot though. She came in and won her first match. Here we go. Now the video is starting to play for us again. And we just got some new peeps joining in. I don't mind. I appreciate it. We're going to try to get as many people to join the community as we can. It just helps the conversation grow. It helps the perception of each perspective grow. We just get to have more fun, more talks, more trash talks, more enjoyable conversation, a little bit of everything. We do, especially during football season. We do have a lot of younger guys that like to talk a little trash, but we generally have fun with it because at the end of the day, it's all about respect. What, bye-bye? Yes, yes, Alyssa. Yes, yes. We have some fun with it over here for sure. You know that. You definitely know that, Alyssa. I know you be getting that smiley emoji out there. You just kick back and watch popcorn. Yeah, all you gotta do is say his name 3 times, and that man generally appears out of nowhere. Him and that little fin flapping fish. Because he was just whining that the tablet had fell down. Man, shout outs to Crystal Richmond for becoming a member. Appreciate you, girl. Thank you. Much love. Shout outs to you, girl. We are a young channel that's on the rise. We're trying to grow. Once the football season stopped, it kind of slowed up a little bit, but we're going to start picking up traction again, and we're going to start, especially once the football season joins back up, we're going to start growing and keeping it going. So, you grilling some chicken and baked potatoes? Hell yeah, sounds good. Save some for me, Crystal. All right, so here I'm gonna play this audio. I'm gonna play this audio for you guys to actually be able to hear it as well. Let me know. Hold on, where's the headset? I'm gonna try to do it through the headset. That way I don't gotta turn my headset off. Let's see. All right. So let me know if you guys can hear this. Can you guys hear that content? I'm 37, Jackie. So can you guys hear that? You can't hear that content? All right, so I guess holding it up to the speaker does not work. In that instance, we're going to have to put the headset down, folks. And then I'll rewind it. Because this is where he's talking about the Mike Florio doing what I was telling you, reporting the hearsay. Shout outs again, Crystal with the dono, $10 donation. Much appreciation. Much love and appreciation goes out to you, Crystal. Thank you. All right, so let me get my other microphone here. Put it up here so that we can get this audio.
Oh, how accurate it is.
All right, could you hear that audio there?
But I did have somebody tell me the Cowboys.
Can you hear that now? I'm gonna pause it while I ask because I don't want to miss any of it. Yes, all right. Appreciate that, Alyssa. All right, so we're gonna play it now.
Talks to the Titans about moving up to number 1. Now, first off, at the risk of starting a Starbucks fight with Florio, I think it is ridiculous to say that you don't like the traffic and stuff. Risk of starting a somebody tell me the Cowboys have
All
talked
right,
and
so we'll
stuff, and
start it
I
from
don't
here.
like the traffic and stuff I've heard because I don't know how accurate it is. But
All
I
right, so right there with that statement, he says, I don't like the traffic in stuff that I've heard because I don't know how accurate it is. But then proceeds to do so. Mike Florio. Mike Florio. Come on now, bro. Shout outs to Tom Downey for this video. I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of it.
did have somebody tell me the Cowboys have talked to the Titans about moving up to number one. Now, first off, at the risk of starting a Starbucks fight with Florio, I think it is ridiculous to say that you don't like the traffic and stuff you've heard, and then immediately traffic and stuff you've heard, which is
Exactly.
also your
Like
job to traffic and stuff you've heard.
that's my point.
So own one of.
All right, but Tom Downey, it may be his job to traffic in stuff that he's heard, but it's his job as a professional to make sure it's accurate before he there regurgitates and spews it out like it is a fact. Because most people that do watch mainstream media, Sports Center, ESPN, you know, NFL Network, Fox Sports, all of them, the people that do watch those shows, they listen and believe what you're saying. And then they go run with it because a big network says it. So therefore, they have more trust and faith that it's a real thing. But that's not always the case, as we see here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to play this.
Them or don't do it, as far as I'm concerned. Florio then also mentioned, like, maybe you got to put Micah Parsons in the trade package and all that stuff. And from what I have
See, at that point, to me, Mike Florio is pandering.
gathered today,
He's
at the Combine,
pandering.
no, this does not pass the smell test at all. And no one is really treating it with any sort of credibility.
Exactly.
This is
Nobody that knows. Shout out to Tom Downey. He has a good scoop and a good thought on head on his shoulders and knows. I'm not a big fan, honestly, of Tom Downey. I'm not a fan of him for the most part, but I'm not going to say that the man lies. The man puts out good content. He does his thing, and I just don't vibe with him. But I just don't vibe with how he puts it out. He doesn't put out anything that's ridiculous or anything like that, but I just don't agree with a lot of his opinions. But he's absolutely right there.
is not one to actually take as a serious conversation of like, yeah, the Cowboys are real interested in moving up to number one. I think there very well could be an NFC team that moves up to number one overall.
I don't think it's the Cowboys, though. I think that, honestly, I think a team that would try to move up to number one would either be the Redskins or the Eagles. Now, at that same pace, once you move outside of the top 8 or 9, maybe 10 in this draft, you're technically getting a second round graded player. There's really only 12, maybe 15 total players in this draft that are going to go in the first round that are actually graded with a first round grade. After that, everybody's really a second round grade. That's why with the runoff, the running backs are, you got Genty, Omarion, and then you got everybody else that's right here. They're real close to Omarion. Genty's just that little bit better, but Omarion and Genty are probably the cream of the crop when it comes to the running backs in this class. All the other running backs are very good. They're going to be very serviceable running backs in this league. I just think that you're going to need a little better O-line for them to be as successful as someone like Genty. I think Genty and Omarion have the style and the talent to be able to kind of overcome having some O-line struggles, which would be good for the Cowboys as we are also still trying to get our O-line put back together. We got Zach Martin, who just retired, who was a staple in our O-line. We have a rookie named Tyler Guyton, who had a couple good games, but really kind of struggled with either injury or just not playing the best uh, as a left tackle coming out of the draft last year. And then Cooper Beebe. Now, Cooper Beebe's played great. I think Cooper Beebe, whether they move him to guard or they keep him at center, I think that he is going to thrive. I think he has the mentality and the skill sets to be a very good O lineman for years to come. And then we have Tyler Smith at the left guard position. Obviously, he's a Hall of Fame future. He's got Hall of Fame future written all over him. He came out the draft and was a Pro Bowl player. I think he even went All Pro his first year. And then over on the right side, you have Terrence Steele, who struggled a lot last year, but our whole line struggled. Even Zach Martin struggled a lot last year. But towards the end of the season, I would say the last 6 games or so, probably right around the time Zach Martin came out and Brock Hoffman took his spot as right guard. At that point, from then, Terrence Steele kind of became our best O lineman for the rest of the season. He kind of started playing better and showing why it was that we gave him that contract a year and a half prior. Just put it back on it. There you go, baby. All right. But yeah, so I mean, we've had some struggles. We don't really know what we're gonna get out of Terrence Steele this season. Does he play like he finished the season off last year? If so, I'm fine with it. If not, and he plays like he did prior to that, then we might need to look for a new right tackle, or we might need to move Tyler Guyton back to right tackle and look for a new left tackle. Some might even tell you to move Tyler Smith. What? You're what? Huh? Pop-Tart? You want a Pop-Tart? Is that what you're asking me for? Yes or no? Yes or no, baby? You gotta help me help you. You let me know, I'll go get what you want. No. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. No. Well, what is it that you want then? No. What are you trying to get? Pop car? Does it sound like Pop Tart or cop car? I don't have a cop car. Mommy don't have a cop car either. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Show me what you want then. Go show me. Come on. What do you want? I can't help you if you're not willing to help yourself. I can't read your mind, Bubby. You're going to have to come show me what you want. Alright, give me a second, guys. Sorry. Well, why didn't you say gummies? You throw a Pop-Tart on the floor, boy. Alright. Alright, there we go. Here. Bingo should trade up and take him. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, so I mean, the Cowboys definitely have some O-line struggles. I feel like that's probably why they're going to be looking at O-line in either the top 3 or the top 4 drafts. But the crazy thing is, in my opinion, there's 4 positions we need to pick in the top 3 draft picks. So what the Cowboys are going to do, I don't know where they're going to find. Hopefully, we can just trust their scouting process and their evaluation process on players to be able to bring them the pieces that we need. They did a decent job at that last year, and they do a decent job at scouting and draft picking, period, as we generally do pretty good. We generally hit pretty well in the draft. We generally don't do anything in free agency that's worth a damn. And I would say that once in a while we'll either get a second or a first round draft pick that just ain't it. Hence Taco Charlton, hence Mozzie Smith, hence uh, just many other players. Jalen Smith. The list can kind of go on and on. As far as second round players that we've missed on and first round players. But it's not as large as most teams, I would say. But one thing I will say about Mozzie Smith is the new coaches coming in, Matt Eberflus and the other defensive coaches that are under him, are acting like they see something in Mozzie that they can work with, that they can turn around and get him to be a very productive player. He didn't really have a bad season last year, but it wasn't a good enough season that we were comfortable letting Odigizua walk. That's why we're having these Odigizua contract talks and talking about needing to bring him back. But I'm going to get back into this video here real quick now that I've rambled on a little bit and had to play daddy for a second.
I think there is a real chance if the Giants don't end up being able to acquire Matthew Stafford. We'll see where that goes in the end. I think there's a real chance they jump up to number one and take a quarterback there. That would not be a surprise.
So his opinion is that the Giants would move up to number one. I think they got, the number 5 pick? I think the Giants are at 5. So really, would it be smart for them to move up to number 1? I feel like they could still get either one of the top 2 quarterbacks at that number 5 position. I think that either Cam Ward will either be available still at 5 pick, or Shedeur Sanders will be there. So I don't feel like jumping up to 1 to get a quarterback is really a good thing for the Giants to do when they're sitting at the 4 or 5 pick. I think it's 5.
The Cowboys jumping up to number 1 is, I would argue, mostly nonsense. That didn't.
And I agree. The Cowboys jumping up to the number 1 pick sounds like complete nonsense.
The reactions from people who would know a lot more than me and would know a lot more than Florio on that were one of complete dismissal of that report. So do not buy it at all. Now, you can still vote if you wish. Do you want the Cowboys to try to move up to number 1 overall, knowing it would cost you a lot? Why for yes and for no? Go vote at the.
I'm honest. I'm not gonna lie to you, Alyssa. I wouldn't either. Like I've said previously, honestly, to me, Shedeur Sanders is outside of the top 50 ranked players coming out of the draft. I think he sits outside of the top 50. Yes, he's number quarterback 2, but I honestly think that there are other quarterbacks that might not have the height or the size that most teams are looking for, but are a better football player than Shedeur. I think Shedeur has, his dad's name going for him, that he's always been in the spotlight, where these other guys that I think could be a better quarterback, haven't got the spotlight shined on him quite as bright because of who Shedeur is. But kudos to that man. He's going to be able to make a hell of a career out of it. I just don't think he's as good as the hype puts out there. I think that Shedeur Sanders is good outside of the pocket and extending plays, but I think as a pure passer in the pocket, I think his presence and his awareness inside the pocket is very minimal. I think it's minimal to the state that it could end up causing an injury to him. I hope not, but I'm scared for him with the awareness that I've seen him put on display as in the pocket. What up, offsides? What it do? Dylan Gabriel might go undrafted. Yeah, it's crazy. This is going to be a crazy draft this year. We're going to see a lot of craziness in the top 10, I'm sure. That was me. That wasn't the door, Micah. I knocked on the wall. It's not the door, baby. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think he is good, but I just think with the way the draft is gonna happen this year, I just think we're gonna have a kind of a crazy draft. Because a lot of teams are looking for a lot of positions.
In the comment of today's video, which is the ad comes here on the YouTube side.
Yes, Nemo. I'm going to be getting off here in about 10 minutes off of this stream. But we will be live at 7 o'clock for the WWE Elimination Chamber. I got you, Offsides.
All right, I want to get some of the press conference takeaways here as it relates.
And we know the Cowboys have already reported that they are going to be looking for a quarterback in the draft. I think that means for a backup in later rounds, seeing as we don't have a backup. Me what? What? Yeah, you got Spider-Man. You, what? What, baby? Okay. What about you? You gonna knock on the wall? Yeah. Okay, then go knock on the wall. That's fine, baby. Knock on the wall if you want to. But yeah, it's just kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. Daddy problems.
To Osa Odigizua and a lot more from Brian Schottenheimer. As we mentioned earlier today, after Mike Fisher had first reported it, Cowboys closer to a deal with Osa Odigizua. I know Todd Archer's mentioned something similar too. My boy Nick Harris mentioning that as well. There is still work to be done, but this is very clearly, as Schottenheimer said, a player the Cowboys have a lot of interest in bringing back.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of ongoing conversations. Obviously, Osa has done.
And honestly, I didn't like the coaching hire to start off with, but I've been impressed, like I said previously, by the picks of coaches that he brought in, by the due diligence that he did finding the quarterbacks or the coaches that he brought in, and the praise that he's gotten from other coaches in the league, like Pete Carroll and them, and Dan Quinn. I feel like we may be underestimating Brian a little bit. I might have to make a shirt that says "I'm with the shots," and then puts up there "Doing it the Shoddy way" on the back, or I might put "Doing it the Shoddy way" on the front. I don't know. I'm gonna have to make something. But we're gonna listen to this little interview with Brian Schottenheimer.
A terrific job for us. He's a terrific young player. He does everything right, and as those communications keep going, it's never done till it's done. But he'd be a guy we'd love to have back.
I don't know.
That's him talking about Odigizua.
When it gets done, there is still work to be done. I wouldn't rule out this week. I watched
the rumors that I'm hearing. So far, they're not announcing it, but I've heard and seen people talk about that he's going to be probably 21 to 22 million. Is what they're going to re-sign Odigizua at. Is what they're looking to re-sign him at.
Stephen Jones head into one of the steakhouses here with what I think was Adam Pacifica and the contract crew, and I think an agent couldn't quite identify from where I was at. I think they're going to work on that one. I think they want to get that one done. We'll see the timing of it all. There's plenty going on, but if they can get a little bit closer on the money differences, I think that is a player they want to retain. I know Matt Eberflus wants to retain him as well because he needs a 3 technique. There are the risks we mentioned earlier today.
I think
that's when there's a lot of
very
interest
good player.
Now, one thing that does have me worried from what Schottenheimer had to say today was his comments will play right now on interest in adding other players in free agency.
Well, I think, again, that's a tough question. David, I can't answer that. It depends on what players you're talking about. Like I said, we're always going to start with our guys. We know them.
So there we go again. That's kind of Brian Schottenheimer's way of reiterating what Stephen Jones said when they said that in the free agency, we're going to be selectively aggressive. I don't know how you can be selective and aggressive. Like, okay, we're going to be aggressive on this 1 or 2 players that we want to get. Not that we're going to be aggressive in the draft, in the free agency. What up, Brenda? Shout outs to you. Welcome, welcome. But that we're going to be aggressive on the people that we want, like the players that we have. Hopefully we see them go get some veteran pieces that we need to help guide some of these young draft picks coming in.
Right, we've got history with them. We've developed those guys. We understand their strengths, their weaknesses, what they bring to the table from a culture standpoint. So, again, it all depends on how things go. It's a very competitive business. It's a very competitive time of year. There's incredible dialogue going on all day, every day here in Indianapolis. I've learned that. And so I think that's the exciting part about this time of year is you really are competing with these other teams that want to come in and acquire your players. And
I mean, that's technically what free agency is, Brian.
We're going to make it very tough to let those guys leave.
I don't.
So their main goal in free agency is to make it tough on the guys that are already in the building to leave, not be aggressive at searching free agencies. So this may be a disappointment for a lot of us Cowboy fans coming in. I'm hoping that we do something more than we did in the previous years in free agency. I'm hoping that the Cowboys understand that they can't rely on solely the draft, that they need to bring in some good pieces, not players that should have retired 4 years ago or players that I don't know, he was hurt last year, he might be good this year. That's things the Cowboys like to do. They like to find the cheap players that they can bring in, the ones that should have retired a couple years ago, the ones that are coming off an injury. Hence, Stephon Diggs. But it's just crazy. They hopefully understand that they need to bring in some more talent and not get some players that are just going to be role spots that fill the void. Like we need players that are going to be head above shoulders, effective on game day.
I don't want to panic on that one, but when I heard it, I was like, "This sounds."
But yeah, I'm gonna say it before Tom Downey says it. And again, shout outs to Tom Downey. I don't own the rights to the content of the audio that I'm playing. Fair use, just using it to critique and for educational purposes. What we have been hearing coming out of the Cowboys facility up until last week is that change is happening. All right. And then we hear Stephen Jones come out and say selectively aggressive. To me, he might as well say all in again. Is that his version of his dad saying all in? I don't know. Not happy with it. Don't think that that's a real thing. I think it sounds more like an oxymoron when you say selectively aggressive. What up, Cardi? What up, James? What it do? What it do? And then you have Brian Schottenheimer talking about that we're going to be aggressive on keeping the players that we have. Not necessarily that we're going to be aggressive in free agency. So let me see what Tom Downey says about it.
Sounds a lot like we like our guys again, and I don't like that. I don't
We
want
like
to be
our
we
guys
like our
again.
guys crew. I don't.
Sentiments that we've heard reiterated from Cowboys front office in years prior. Yeah, we're gonna be watching that can't talk right. The Elimination Chamber at 7:00. I hope you think Genty is trash, Carty. I think that they're either going to take Genty, Omarion Hampton, Luther Burden, or Tet McMillan. I think if they can't get one of those four players at 12, that they should try to trade back and pick up either a late third round or fourth round pick as well to try to help build this team, especially if they're not going to do much in free agency. And then at that point, we will have 12 picks in the draft. So we should be able to use and maneuver those picks to actually move up in different parts of the draft to get the players that we need. To me, that would be my plan. as a GM if I had that role.
I don't think it's a good process.
McCarty, I don't think Genty is trash. He's definitely a generational talent.
I think you need to do more than that. Now, part of what Schottenheimer was really saying was, and he mentioned this previously in kind of a couple disjointed answers, was right now he is been focused on building the staff. He's talking about Ashton Genty. He knows who Ashton Genty is. He's seen some highlights from watching college football games. He hasn't done any work on Ashton Genty. He hasn't had time. It's been build the staff. It's been focus on the internal guys coming up.
And I'm going to give him kudos. Brian Schottenheimer. I am happy with the staff you have built. I have faith in the staff you have built. Like I've said previously, I think the Cowboys have been putting some of the right ingredients in the Kool-Aid pitcher. And in their draft and free agency is when they need to start stirring that. And if it turns out decent enough, people may start to drink it and get drunk on the Kool-Aid that the Cowboys are feeding them. But if it proceeds in this manner, I don't think anybody's going to drink that Kool-Aid. Not anybody that's following the team and their actions on a daily basis. The Cowboys like to make it hard on their fan base to want to buy in.
Free agency. Then it's go to that stuff in the next week or so. Then it's time for the draft. So I wouldn't overreact to that one, except for the fact that I have no faith in the front office to actually do the stuff we want them to do in
A couple months.
Again, I like that. I think that is what I want you to do with your coaching staff. Don't have a bunch of yes men.
Grass. So, of this, the ability to train in fundamentals. Really, how the three. Tell me somebody.
Matt is like Clayton Adams, who is kind of trust level in the Cowboys front office.
There we go.
Now, that was a negative thing I had with Schottenheimer. I actually really liked his comments
what up, MW
about
Prods?
building
what
a coaching staff and how he has kind of tracked coaches, which allowed him to find guys like Clayton Adams, who he said he met years ago and was really impressed by, and kind of put him on his list. So let's hear from Schottenheimer on that.
It's a great question, Clarence. I think, this is something that I've done for a long time, which means spend the off season, the summer. My wife gets mad at me, but tracking coaches. I literally call guys in the business that I know.
Here, Brian Schottenheimer is now talking about the process he did when he went about picking the coaches that he hired.
One that I trust, and I'm like, hey, tell me somebody that maybe you think the world of, but that I've never heard of. And, it's such a close-knit fraternity that guys are happy to share good people with good people. I think there's 3 guys maybe that I've worked with before that weren't carryover guys. When you asked me initially how the staff was going to come together, did I think that would be the case? Probably not. But again, the guys that came in, I think we found great teachers. We found guys that were incredible people. And I have a real big belief in fundamentals. And so I think if you look at all the coaches that we've added, both.
I will say that I know I've said it previously, but I like that they're talking about culture. They're talking about effort. They're talking about building relationships between the players and players and coaches to help build a culture in Dallas, because Dallas has lacked a culture. The Cowboys have always been a very talented team, but they have yet to be a cultured team where you got 53 men that are playing for each other. We have had always just 53 men that are playing for the name on their back, but they're not so much playing for the name on their front. We need players that are going to do both. We need them to play for the name on their front and for the man beside them, so that while they're playing, they don't need to worry about playing for the name on their back, because that's going to stand out on its own by putting in 100% effort in playing for the man beside you. That's your brother. That's who you get up and go play your hardest for, even the days that you don't want to play. Even the days you're not feeling your greatest, or you're fighting through injury. Those are the people that those other players are playing for. And Dallas has really lacked in having a strong culture in years prior. So I'm hoping that that's what we're building towards.
Young, old, the ability to train fundamentals and the developmental process of our players is critical. And one last thing, like, I know for a fact our players are going to feel the passion and energy of this staff. This staff is awesome, just in terms of the energy, the way they want to teach, the way they want to be on the grass. So I can't wait to see us get to work here in a couple months.
Again, I like that. I think that is what I
like
want
that
you to
as
do with your
well.
coaching staff. Don't have a bunch of yes men. Have a bunch of guys. You can have some.
And that's and not having a bunch of yes men. We know that in the instance that we've gone through and did videos reacting to the coaching interviews of all the new coaching hires. And one thing we can say is that they're going to all base their opinion. They're going to all look at each play and that they're going to break it down and try to build it, but get as many perspectives on it as they can so that they can move forward in the best manner for the football team. And they all reiterate that heavily in their interviews.
Guys, you've got a good relation.
Along with being aggressively violent. They're preaching violence in the Cowboys building right now. Obviously, not the kind of violence that you would see on the streets, but violence in their play, in their effort, in their hustle, and that we're going to be a physical team. The Cowboys have, in recent years, been accused of being soft, being predictable. Those are labels that the Cowboys need to get rid of if they want to succeed in the postseason. We can't be a soft team. We can't be front runners. We can't be a team that struggles when we get to adversity, because it's, if you look at the players at the games that we get 1-2 touchdowns behind early on, you could see the demeanor of the players on the sideline. They feel like they've already lost. The fight just wasn't there with Mike McCarthy. The determination just was not there to will themselves back into a game. And a lot of times you could say, some fans may say, oh, but they did will them, but that was in the fourth quarter when the other team had already let up, and it's stat buffering, it's garbage time. Those don't count. We want to stay competitive throughout the game, whether they're down a touchdown or two early or not. They need to stay hungry, stay grinding, and stay focused on the process that's going to get them back in competition and able to be able to win those games, not be coming back late in garbage time and just buffering their stats.
With, but building out that staff with different options and ideas. And he spoke glowingly of Clayton Adams, who, he said he met when Adams was with the Colts and met him at the combine, I think he said, and at least he said here.
I think Clayton Adams is going to be an integral piece of the offense in how we run the ball. I think that he did a hell of a job in Arizona. I think he does a lot of the pin and pull with the O-line, bringing your tackle and your guard or your center and your guard over to block in front of your running back, to kind of just get your man in as much open space and as many one-on-ones as possible for the guy with the ball. Nemo, what are you talking about?
So we're coming close to the end of the show. Literally here. In Indy, and it was like, wow, that guy's different. And to have that filed away, have that stashed, and then be able to get him into your coaching staff, I think that's really good.
Nemo.
The stuff that we can judge Schottenheimer on so far, as much as I despise the process, I did meant to bring the toast here, and I forgot to.
Nemo, are you talking to yourself? Are you talking to yourself, Finn Flappy?
Was the staff. And so far, I think the staff's pretty good. So grade it for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Schottenheimer also...
I give the coaching hire for the Dallas Cowboys a B+ to an A-. Jesus.
had comments on two different offensive linemen. First up, Tyler Guyton. Now, Guyton, I think, needs to get a little bit more physical, a little bit stronger.
Now, Guyton getting more physical. What we have heard from Brian Schottenheimer is that Tyler Guyton has been in the gym every single day trying to put on some muscle mass. I think that'll be very helpful for him. I think that's something that he lacked last year coming in as a rookie, that he was able to get bull rushed and overpowered a lot in plays. And I think that if he puts on some muscle mass and some strength, that he can overcome a lot of that with his talents and strength. So we have heard that he's been putting in a lot of work in the gym. He's been in the gym every day, weight training, trying to get stronger.
Needs to grow, develop. Schottenheimer twice went out of his way to mention Guyton as someone he's kind of excited about, wants to see how they can develop him. Here's, I think, the most notable part.
Sounds like he's about to play the clip of Brian Schottenheimer talking about Tyler Guyton.
About Guyton busting his butt.
You know, you watch Cooper Beebe, Tyler Guyton, those guys. Tyler Guyton's been in the weight room every day. He's working his ass off. And to me, that's really exciting. But I think the influence of Clayton, the influence of Connor Riley, I think
it's crazy, though, because our offense now this year has literally 3 offensive coordinators, if you count the head coach. So we should be able to do much better, especially in the run game. They're all focusing on the fundamentals. So hopefully that translates and shows on the field that they're going to be a run-heavy team. I think that relying on Dak like we have in years past is not the proper way to go about the football game with the Cowboys. I think Dak is at his best when he has a very solid run game. Hence his rookie season with Zeke Elliott. When Zeke was the lead guy and Zeke was still Zeke, Dak played phenomenal. People called him dink and dunk Dak, but I don't care. I'd rather have him dink and dunk down the field. That's what Jared Goff does. That's what Brock Purdy does. That's what Jalen Hurts did. So you need to be able to have a good run game to help your quarterback out. All the other good teams that I just mentioned all did so.
Package was so important for us, and I think we hit a.
And if you look in the playoffs, there was literally only like 2 teams that you could say weren't a run first team, and that would have been Buffalo, and that would have been the Chiefs. All the other teams were running teams. Those teams ran the ball.
The home run.
That's what I want.
The running back is coming back. The running back is becoming a more valued position once again. Where in the previous years, it has been very devalued.
I want Guyton working hard. They're going to keep him at left tackle by all counts. I don't think you're going to have changes at left tackle, right tackle. I think you will have Guyton there, Steele there.
All right. What up, Dogo? What it do? I mean, Martin was one of the greatest guards to ever play, in my opinion. Do I want to see him retire? No. But do I want to see him perform like he did again last year? No. Zach Martin was literally a shell of himself last year. Before last year, he had more all-pro seasons and more Pro Bowl votes than he did sacks allowed or pressures allowed in his whole career until last year. He was playing with an injury, the age was getting there, and Zach Martin just wasn't able to be Zach Martin last year. We honestly got better on the O-line when Zach Martin went out and Brock Hoffman came in, because when that happened, when Zach Martin was on the field, I feel like Terrence Steele was trying to do too much on his own and not being able to help. I think that, or that he was doing too much to try to help Zach Martin, knowing that he was not healthy. But when Brock Hoffman came on, Terrence Steele turned into a better player. Terrence Steele, at that point, became our best O-lineman, even over Tyler Smith, who struggled last year for his first year struggling. But yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. We're gonna have to see how this goes and where it goes. Hopefully, the Cowboys do something better than they did last year in the free agency. We'll be making many more videos on this, I'm sure. We're going to be ending this one as we've already gone 15 minutes over. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in, tapped in, shouted out. Make sure y'all hit that like button if you haven't already, just to let the algorithm know that we got something going over here that we're trying to keep it going. And it helps me out. And helping me out can in return, if you become part of the community over here, it's going to help you out as well. But we're gonna wrap this up here today, guys. We'll be back live for the Elimination Chamber of WWE at 7 o'clock. So if you're interested in that, make sure you tune in for that because we will be live again. But hey, we're about to hop off here. I'm Real Rawls, and we're about to be out here. Make sure y'all treat everybody great and make tomorrow great on purpose.